Welcome to the Global Exclusive Podcast. Sorry, no, this isn't the Global Exclusive Podcast. This is the FF7 mobile game podcast. Because for 3 fucking weeks, we've had FF7 characters, and I think this is a new record. We haven't had a phase where it's been 3 straight weeks of the same game. Am I right?
Oh
And
shit.
if you don't count FFBE, that might be correct.
Yeah, and I don't
Yeah,
because
yeah.
FFB is FFB, right? So like,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wouldn't count it to either. I this is like literally the first time we have a game for 3 weeks. Okay, wow. I did not even notice that. Nice
It
catch.
it might not actually be the first time, but it's
Okay.
even if it isn't, I'm sure it's very rare.
Could we have had like a Type 0 event or some shit at some point?
it
That
never
was
I don't.
was like in a row. That's the issue, right?
What about tactics?
yeah.
There was a while where they were just shitting out terrible
Okay, so
tactics units.
Tactics was
Hmm.
I did check tactics. It was a 2 weeks, and then there was another week or 2 week of delay between the next banner. So this is 3 straight weeks. That's why it's so weird, right?
Okay. Yeah, no, but it's probably unique. I mean, in JP they did a whole thing about this. Like there was actually a whole quest series and shit you had to do. We didn't get that. So this is probably a unique event, I guess. 3 weeks of a single game. Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, it's a very popular game even before the remake, and now the remake it out, and there is this retrograde bullshit that's only for PS5 owners. I don't know what the fuck is up with that. So yeah.
You know what? You should just get a PS5 because I know that's super easy right now, right?
Yeah, it's incredibly easy. I've only been waiting for mine for a year. But sure, let's see. Like Sony is saying that they have many, many millions more or resources for many millions more. I just don't see them anywhere. Like they're not, they're not in stores. I don't know where the fuck these resources are. Yeah. So yeah, okay, but I mean, this is a very anticipated banner, right? Too bad the unit on it sucks so fucking hard. It's a terrible banner, and nobody should pull on it.
Yeah. I mean, who wants to pull on Sephiroth? Like
Yeah.
I don't know this character. Never heard of him.
It's worse Tifa is how I like to call him.
I think he's from Final Fantasy 14. There was a boss there called Sephiroth, so I imagine this guy is based on him.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Sephiroth. That's an excellent boss name, actually. So, I mean, let's talk about the unit, I guess. He has a
No, we have
really
to
big
leave him for
sword.
last. We have to talk about the terrible
Okay.
units first.
Wait,
You
there are
mean
terrible units on this banner as well.
Oh
bigs and
yes,
wedges? Or I
yeah,
think where we need to start.
yeah. I'm just gonna call them Wedge because that's about the level of
Wedge.
respect they deserve.
How
Yeah,
about
honestly,
wigs?
well, bigs and wedges is absolutely terrible. I don't know what kind of drugs somebody was on when they designed
I
this unit.
mean, like for events or like speed kill stuff where you're resisting all the damage, they might be decent because they're a magic tank with Entrust and LB fill. So, like,
Remember that time when Awaken the Rain had that like 20% chance to cover somebody with magic damage?
Yeah.
I thought we stopped that shit.
But Muspel is right though. I do see a fair use of this unit, maybe even more so in Cow that's coming up soon, where you actually need a tank that you also would really like to entrust someone. That's actually a fairly strong niche, I want to say. That can definitely see some use.
kinda. I mean, it's still not great.
Yeah. No, I
Um,
mean, like, yeah, it's
Shadow,
not
what did
meta
you mean
breaking.
by chance to cover someone?
Sorry, I thought they had the thing where it's like 20% chance to cover someone at the
No,
beginning of a
no
turn. I thought
passive
that was
cover.
okay. No,
Oh,
you're right.
really? Okay.
Yeah, it was something else.
Yeah, passive cover is pretty shitty. We have a couple of units that have it. Like, I've fucking seen. Yeah, okay, I don't know. It's like
I
I
don't
just
think they
see it
put
in
passive
arena from
cover
time
on
to
a
time.
unit in a very long time.
They haven't.
Hopefully,
Okay, yeah.
that's
Yeah,
good.
they're like I think the quote unquote newest unit that has it is C card, and that's only if you don't do the ability awakening, which naturally nobody does in arena because the only people that use him in arena are assholes.
Yeah. No, I mean, obviously, passive cover is actually not an arena problem. It's much, much more so a trial problem because obviously you do not want your non-tank units to randomly cover at points in time where that would
What?
screw
That
you over.
sounds so unique to me, Barrows. Why would people not want that?
Well, to explain the mechanics behind it, Shadow, it is because once a cover has been activated, another cover cannot. Okay, so this is for the listeners that haven't been
Yeah.
around during that era.
Well,
But
more
yeah, so
accurately, it's that a unit that is being covered cannot cover someone else.
Okay, but guys, none of you have
Okay,
mentioned
fine.
his STMR, which I thought Muspel would open
His
with.
TM and STMR are actually worth talking about because they're fairly unique.
Exactly.
Like
His
Okay.
STMR too.
The TM is not necessarily good, but it's decent. It's 500 static HP and 50% spirit, which is like if you're capping HP and you also want spirit, that's fine. I
And
don't
is that
think
a
this is going to see.
materia or?
It's a materia. Yeah, I don't think
Okay.
it's going to see much use at all, but maybe once in a while. I don't know. The STMR is. It sounds really good. It has 180 spirit and 75% spirit true dual wield. The problem is that it's a gun. Tanks are
Ugh.
generally not known for using guns, and they're also usually not known for dual wielding.
Ah, but you
Yeah.
see, this is the beginning of the Shui Yu dual wielding gun comeback, LB Brave Shift build. So
hmm
Like something I guess you could do with this is you could use equip gun and then dual wield this along with Prompto's STMR, which gives a unit dual wield. It's a gun with spirit on it, or you could just use 2 copies of this and then a different materia that gives you dual wield or something. But
Still sounds very far-fetched. Besides, normally magic tanks just want that shield for the resistances, so dual wielding,
yeah, if
like,
we ever get like a Jake tank unit or something, maybe this would be fantastic for him. Who knows?
a Jake and Lid duo unit.
No,
Um,
no,
no,
we're
no, no, no,
keeping
no.
those
Hear
two
me out.
as far apart as possible.
No, no, no. So hear me out. The base form is just Jake and Lid, all right? And they are a breaker slash damage dealer, is what they are in
And then
base
is the
form.
Brave Shift Jake being dragged off to jail?
yes,
Why would he be dragged out? I was gonna say them having sex
Because
is the
he's
brave shift,
28 and
but
Lid is 16.
well, okay, there are countries where that is legal, so maybe you should be
not on
less
this
judgmental.
podcast. Not on this podcast.
Well, actually, I think we've been over this before, but in Sweden, the age of consent is 15. Okay,
I don't want to know why you know that, and we're going to move on to the next unit now.
I mean everyone knows that. How would you not know that when you live in a country what the age of consent is? I mean, just to be very, very clear, I think the age of consent in Sweden is stupidly low. 15 is a stupidly low age to have age of consent on, but still, like, just saying, it's there. Anyway,
We
moving
went
on.
way off the rails. We went way off the
The
rails.
next unit is Barrett. He now has an NVA.
Yay!
He is
I
also
like
a
Barrett.
tank. He is a physical tank.
Ah,
And he is about as good as a 7-star tank.
okay. Wow. Wait, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah, his effective health is lower than Steiner's.
Oh, okay. But Steiner was pretty decent by 7-star standards, though. But yeah, like, I mean,
Yeah,
he's an
but
MVA, so yeah.
yeah, Steiner was like, I think bulk-wise, the physical version of Cecil.
Okay.
In that he had the 75% general mitigation, and Barrett does not have that. So Barrett also
So
doesn't have multicast, so it takes him a few turns to get all of his stuff set up.
okay.
Yeah,
It's not good.
I think what
But
people.
if you like, did anyone do calcs for like if you give him like I don't know why I'm asking this. Okay, I don't know why I'm asking
If you
this.
give him a massage therapist and
Yeah,
a
yeah.
Rolex,
If you give him external support, where does he end up?
probably still not great. The problem is that there's not many good external sources of physical or general mitigation that you can maintain. Like he already has 50% general and he already has 30% or 50% physical. Like who goes higher than that? Euraisha does 60% physical, I think. Is
Yeah,
there
and then you'd
anybody?
have Beatrix or
Yeah, but
Elrix
like,
to
are you
do.
gonna bring Beatrix and Barrett? Why?
Listen, I regret even asking. Okay, so let's just move the fuck on. Wait, does he have any other role? Like, can he do damage? Can he do anything?
Um, he
He
has
he ha-
chaining.
he has skills that deal damage.
Uh,
They do not deal good damage.
So, like, wait. So, what is his shift role?
Tank.
it's another tank.
Oh, so that's
His
wait. So,
yes.
what?
His base form
is useless.
his base form does not exist.
Oh,
Yeah,
Just pretend it doesn't exist. It is a
that was a
damage dealer.
shame.
It is not a good one.
They did
His
Barrett dirty. I felt like Barrett was a very interesting character in the FF7R game, and now why not just give him a decent NVA? That sucks. Oh well. I mean, at least his STMR is still good, right, Muspel?
so that's where
maybe.
kind of gets awkward because like his STMR is good, but I don't know if it's worth. I guess it's still better than an EX2 Barrett if you have enough Barretts to save it. It is
I
a
don't know how often you want multiple copies of it though. Like how often are you using more than one gun user?
yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Plus, I
Yeah.
mean, I think we're seeing another spike in stats on STMRs. So 52 attack. Like Sephiroth's STMR, we're jumping ahead a bit here, has 80. He's a premium unit, but I still imagine we're going to start seeing stuff with more and more attack.
Yeah.
I've had Barrett's
no, that's
STMR
true.
for a while. I don't know that I've ever used it.
Same here, actually. Like, it's one of those things that's good on paper. You're thinking like this might be useful at some point, but it has never been selected in the builder for me whenever I'm building. And I've still built a fair amount of gun units.
Although it is a piece of body armor with LB fill and decent attack, and like there's not a lot of body armor with LB fill. Like there's Lumina's STMR, but I don't even remember if that has attack. I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay. We're
Does
really stretching this thing. We're really stretching this.
Okay. Let's get around to the unit that people care about.
Yes.
Oh yeah. His TM sucks.
Oh yeah, it does.
Can we
forgot
start with
for a moment
Sephiroth's
where it was.
TM and STMR? Because I think those are really interesting.
Sure.
Wait. Can we also just decide to call this unit worse Tifa rather than Sephiroth? That'd make me happy.
Is it because you pulled Tifa and skipped Sephiroth?
It's because I pulled Tifa and didn't pull Sephiroth. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, sure, we can call it worse Tifa.
Okay, so better Tifa's TM is a TDH or true single wield materia with LB damage. 50% LB damage, 60% true single wield while using a katana with or without a shield. You're never going to use this with a shield. I don't know why that part is there. I don't know why Sephiroth has it. He is not known for using shields.
Yeah.
Like, if he at least used a shield in Final Fantasy VII, it would be like, okay, whatever. But, like, does he use one in...
A remake?
No.
Not the remake. The... What's it called? Crisis Core? Is that the prequel one?
No, he doesn't use a shield ever.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's just weird. Also, the 60% is just like, that's the OCD inducing shit.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So the 60% really bothers me because if it was 60% flat attack, that's great. But 60% TDH, my fucking goodness.
You really just treat it as though it's 50% in practice.
Yes, but if you see if you go to your stats screen and see 410% TDH, that makes me boil. Just like you know what makes me boil?
I don't like it either. I'm just saying it's like it doesn't make the item worse. It just makes it annoying.
But the thing is, when it's like the way it is, then it's identical to fucking Lone Lion Squall's TMR.
So what do you think is the chance that it's like this because somebody at LM made a typo?
Yeah, no. I literally said that in the news day. I think this was meant to be 60% attack and 50% LB. That's what I think this was.
Oh no, I meant that they typed in 60% instead of 50% TDH.
Oh yeah. That's also very, very likely. Very likely. I was just making the point that I actually think this would have been a decent TMR if it was just an upgraded version of AC Cloud's
honestly,
TMR.
With TDH, it might be better.
Really?
I think it could be.
I think the problem nowadays is that a lot of these units want to get their TDH from a materia because there are accessories with super high flat attack.
Right, but the thing is, like, then it's just as good as Lone Lion Squall's TMR, which is super weird. Like, this premium unit comes out and has a TMR that's incredibly weak. That doesn't make sense.
I'm trying to remember what Lone Lion Squall's TMR is.
It's 50% TDH, 50% LB.
I wanna just wind back a bit and talk about the OCD in raising like 60% TDH because this week we also got the daily 10 fragment for a single unit.
Oh, fuck that shit.
And now I see like 23 shards of some shit and it drives me nuts.
Hey, I got one fragment for Sephiroth, Tifa, and Aerith so far.
Listen, so it's so weird that they designed this event. I mean, is this like, I'm so sorry we don't have anyone from JP in the podcast right now, but is this like a carbon copy from something they had in JP? Because in JP it'd make more sense because they can get, one shard.
As far as I know, JP never got anything like this, but I also don't pay much attention to JP, so...
Because here's the thing, this is at best slightly good, because at best you're going to get 5 shards for a unit you care about, and that's going to cut back on 1 day of farming.
To be honest, it only takes 4 days of summons to get 40 fragments for a unit.
True. That is actually incredibly true. That is incredibly true.
You just need to get good RNG.
Yes, that's it. So I'm going to ask Rigoro what the fuck he got for his rolls. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why we got that. That's just annoying. I mean, of course, I still pull on it, but like, as
Yeah.
the chances of it being even remotely useful are so low right now that it's just there to spend friend points on.
Yeah, and then there's Sephiroth's Stmr, which has the highest attack of any chess piece in the game right now, 80. I think the next highest is like 57 or something.
Yeah.
And it also gives you stop immunity, which is not super relevant unless you're doing, like, I guess it's okay in arena, but honestly, I'd probably rather use something else for arena or just like not do arena at all.
Exactly.
Doing arena is a great idea. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then it has a passive for Sephiroth that gives him 500 static attack. So
Right. So
it's
Sephiroth
good,
wants it,
but
obviously.
yeah,
Just like
Sephiroth wants
Tifa
it.
wants her.
Honestly, almost every unit wants it unless there's like a killer body armor. Like if you're fighting beasts, you probably want Ifrit Rain's Stmr, but otherwise
Yeah.
this is usually going to be BIS on almost anyone. But it's not necessarily a big upgrade over the alternatives. Like 23 attack, even with true double hand, is probably only going to add a couple % damage.
Yeah. Yeah, but still, it's there for the EP. That's the most important
Yeah.
part of it. Like, it's gonna bump your attack numbers by a bit in your friends list, which is very important.
Yeah, and then his card has 125 attack, which is higher than anything else. 50% LB damage, undead killer, and then static attack, 500 static attack for Final Fantasy 7 units. And
Yeah.
like Tifa's and Aerith's cards, it doesn't need to be leveled. So good, but you have to get them to EX3, which is stupidly expensive. So
Yeah,
not worth it.
and people were even talking in Discord because, like, I'm really starting to feel the pain of this premium unit EX3 bullshit, and we're just gonna get more with super limit breaks and shit like that. And someone said that if you pull 3 units, so if you pull 3 copies of a unit, which is like, let's face it, that's actually fairly lucky, right? Pulling 3 NVs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so if you pull 3 NVs, you're still not any closer to EX3 because it's still gonna take you 3 shard dungeons to get that unit to EX3. So pulling 2 copies and 3 copies is actually identical, which is fucking dumb.
Well, if you get 30 from logins and 50 from VIP coins, then you're at 80, plus
Right.
100 from charting the 2 fragments. That gets you to 180, and you need 400, right? Or 350?
350.
350. So that would be, oh yeah, I guess it is still 3 runs.
It is quite a bit. Like, I mean,
And then that sucks, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's like, so either, which literally paints this picture, right? So if you just care about the unit and want to get it useful, then if you just go in for 1 copy, and if you buy the VIP shards that get available after the unit's banner ends, as well as get all the login shards, you're gonna get EX2 after a shard dungeon. And that's like, what's weird to me is that there is literally no other benefit of getting more copies unless you're going in the very deep end to go for that EX3.
I mean,
Which to
it
me
does
is
save
like,
you from needing to run him through an entire fragment dungeon, so you can bring in somebody
yeah,
else.
but I mean, come
yeah.
on. And that's my point. Like, it's kind of like this system is a bit stupid in the sense that it doesn't incentivize pulling more of one unit, because you really don't get anything because you're going to be running the shard. Like, for instance, if you just get 1 copy, you're still going to be running the shard dungeon. So if you get 2 copies, that's nice because then you don't have to wait for the shard dungeon. But that's literally also the only thing you get. Of course, apart from extra STMRs, I guess. That's, I guess, nice. Well, it's nicer for Tifa,
I
not
just
so
think
much
it's
for
important
Sephiroth.
to remember that Gumi probably only really cares about the whales. I imagine they make up, like, with mobile games, whales are usually, what, 95% of the revenue?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they
So,
don't care about the people they're gonna pull for 2 or 3 copies. They care about the ones that are gonna chase 8.
Yeah, exactly. They're creating the incentive for people to go for 8 units. So either to empty a free to play player's entire stash, or to get a whale to really go deep on the banner. So yeah. No, I mean, I get it. I just think it's flawed because, like, you don't have to go with one or the other. You could actually give people some benefits for pulling more than a single copy.
Yeah,
And
I
this
certainly
system just
don't like
doesn't.
the model for these banners, but
Yeah.
I mean, I've said this in previous weeks. It's Alum made these units overpowered on purpose, and now Gumi is kind of stuck because everybody wants the units, but nobody wants them to be more expensive.
But you have to also realize that, like, I don't think that ALM ever makes like this is the peak. Like Sephiroth and Tifa were the peak of the power curve. Now, recently people are saying Auron is really, really strong too, but like between Sephiroth and Auron is quite a bit of long time to see. Oh, there was no real power creep in between. So I do think that this might be a one-off case for GL, like the way that the banners are. And then Gumi might just revert back to the old 40k ones for the next, like Kurosame, for FF6, and et cetera, because they're not as strong as Sephiroth and Tifa.
But I mean, they weren't premium units in JP either, right?
But
Uh,
in JP they were. They were
yeah.
called
Oh,
premium
they were?
units. Yeah.
Oh, I
I
did
don't,
not know that.
I'm
Oh,
not sure we translated it that way at the time because
Yeah,
we
but in
usually don't.
JP they were pretty explicit in saying that Sephiroth and Tifa were premium units because of how they treated with their vision card, of how the EX2 and EX3 upgrades worked, like, et cetera, et cetera.
right.
So
But I mean,
yeah,
but are you sure? So Kurosame and the rest, and like Final Fantasy VI banner would also be a premium banner in the sense that you need EX3 for the card and so on and so on.
no. So the EX3 for the card was exclusive to Sephiroth and Tifa. They've never repeated that since, from what I recall. I don't know if they
Well-
did that recently. The other thing is where the EX2 upgrades on release, that's been consistent. Like I know Kurosame has EX2 on release. I think Celeste
Okay.
also has EX2 on release.
Well, you
but
have to
they
keep in
were
mind that in JP you have to get every unit to EXP for their card. Like you can still get them randomly
True,
from summons,
true.
and I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
with
right.
Tifa and Sephiroth it was that they didn't add them into the summons.
Yeah,
Right.
that was the thing. And the other thing is I don't think Kurosame was a premium unit, and neither was
Because
not
I mean, to me
Auron.
that to me that would make sense, right? If Kurosame isn't premium, if Cyan and Celeste are not premium, that makes sense. They are less powerful, and then we also get the normal GL pity and so on and so on, right?
So I'm looking at a JP spreadsheet. I'm looking at what is spreadsheet here. Auron bursts for like about 10% more than Sephiroth.
Yeah.
Tyvis,
our
who is the season 4 main character, I think, also bursts a little bit higher than Sephiroth, and I'm not sure if Tyvis is premium or not.
Yeah, since our mention that, like, for the longevity of the units, we said this in the news day, and it's worth repeating. These units are gonna be like Tifa and Sephiroth are gonna be creme de la creme until we actually get Auron. Like they are gonna be the highest hitting units, and when Auron and Tyvis come out, they're not beating them by 50%. So they're gonna be very strong for a very long time.
Yeah. So the reason I bring this up is that maybe, and this is just a maybe, this whole 60k bullshit with requiring EX2 and like all this is only limited to Sephiroth and Tifa because their power curve is exclusive until Auron comes out. So we don't know until the FF6 banner hit. Like, what if the Celeste banner is another 40k and we don't need to do the whole 60k?
No, but I think everyone is expecting the Celeste banner to be on 40k. I don't think anyone is expecting to get.
I don't think she was a premium unit in JP, was she?
Yeah, exactly.
I think she was.
That's my entire point. No, I don't think so. I mean, they are. The thing is, you still need EX3 because of SLB bullshit on Cyan, but I don't. I mean, okay, I could be wrong because I know nothing about JP, but I think this is it. Like, there are a couple of premium units, and they are special.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Like, 'cause I do remember there were a few like premium units in between until we get Auron and like Yuna and shit like that. But like, maybe
Yeah,
you're
no,
right.
no.
I do know that there were.
I'm fully expecting that we go back to our fully normal banners as soon as this ends. Like that's what I'm expecting. I think that's also normal to expect. I don't think that's me being hopeful.
Looking at the banner mega thread from when Celes came out, her card did go into the general pool of stuff you can pull in JP. Because in JP, for those that don't know, when you pull an NV unit, you get a random vision card like in GL. But in JP, that includes unit-specific cards, not just the random shitty free ones.
Yeah. And then on EX3, you actually get the unit-specific card.
But to make up for it, you don't get a units card when you awaken them to EX1 in JP. So GL mostly got the better end of that deal.
Definitely much better end. And then I'm also expecting the same for these units. Like I'm expecting Final Fantasy VI units to get their VC on EX1. And so on. So I think so. I think we're just going back to the normal. The problem is, of course,
that's the case, yeah.
Yeah, but the problem is that even on a good day, like non-premium units are gonna be shit compared to the premium ones. Unfortunately,
we should probably mention what Sephiroth actually does, though.
There's nothing to say though, Muspel.
Okay, so Sephiroth has one skill. He deals damage, dark damage.
Yes, very hard.
Yes.
So it's very hard.
In addition to this, Sephiroth really only has like 3 skills in this kit, and this is the most bare bones kit we've ever had, I think, in the game, where like a unit has 3 things in his skills and then his LB, and that's all he does.
I
I
mean,
do,
isn't he still a full-on mirror of Tifa, right? Like they
Uh,
are.
yeah.
Technically, there is one other unit that was more bare bones than him and was on top of the meta, and that is OG Luneth when he came out, who also only had 3 skills.
I didn't
Oh
know that.
shit! Thank you for that trip down memory lane. I
OG
remember
Luneth,
when
I remember
Luneth
this
was
shit.
king. I remember
Yeah,
that.
everyone loved it at the time because you didn't have to scroll down to use his skills.
Yeah, yeah, that was nice. That was nice. But okay, I mean, it's both their kits are very bare bone, right? Like they
Yeah,
have
yeah.
their
Oh yeah.
imbue, they have their Magnus, and then they just do damage with their fucking LB, and that's it.
Like, I
And
don't necessarily mind the minimalistic design because most NVs have like 40 skills and maybe 4 or 5 of them matter. Right? This is more of a thing in the 7-star era, I guess, not the NV era. But
yeah, yeah.
there was a lot of skill bloat going on.
But I'm gonna put it this way. So I also don't like that we get worthless skill bloat, as in like, oh, there's this ability and you're obviously never ever going to use it on this unit because it's actually just a worse version of their main chaining ability. So that I think is dumb as shit.
But
But what I do like about FFB is the complexity of the game, like the depth it offers, where you can have multiple abilities, where there are some weird, quirky niche use cases for a certain ability. And that's what I don't like with the really slim kits that we're seeing now.
Yeah.
I just don't like it.
I would obviously rather they put more thought into the kits, but in terms of actual functionality, Sephiroth is not meaningfully different than the 7-star units that had a bunch of skills but really only had 3.
True, 100%.
but
That's 100% true.
I still liked it when they had flavor. Like I think it was I don't know who it was, but like one of these units had like really good like flavor abilities that weren't really useful in practice, but like it was a good callback to the original games. That's the sort of thing I miss. I guess for Sephiroth and Tifa, they don't. I mean, Tifa has it for sure. I don't really care for Sephiroth, so I don't know. If
Sephiroth, I'm not sure, like
I don't know if Fallen Angel and Purging Blade has any recall to any of his abilities in his boss battle. I can't remember at all.
he had an ability called a One-Winged Angel, I think. Or maybe that was the name of his theme song, I forget.
Pretty sure that
But,
was his
I
theme
mean,
song.
but I do like flavor too. Like that's the thing. Just having like, for instance, if we look back at I guess original Tifa, she has a lot in her kit that you wouldn't want to use, but all of them are like from the main game, and that's all about the nostalgia, right? Like you're pulling a unit that has all of these
Yeah,
abilities.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure how many skills Sephiroth actually had in Final Fantasy VII. I have not played the remake. Maybe he has some named skills in that. I don't know how much he actually shows up since we've only had the first one so far.
I think technically the only time you get to use Sephiroth on any level is in the Nibelheim
the
recollection
flashback
scene,
thing.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't even remember what the fuck
Maybe
he
there was
has there,
something
like
in
attack and
Crisis
fire
Core.
or some shit.
I think, wasn't he a main or playable character in Crisis Core or one of the
No, he
prequels?
wasn't playable, but he wasn't playable at all in Crisis Core.
Okay,
So
I've never played any of the other Final Fantasy VII games, so
Yeah, I mean, so you could still make abilities out of his moves as a boss because, like in Final Fantasy VII, all of his moves are still
well,
named when he's
I'm trying
attacking
to
you.
remember when you fought him as a boss. You obviously fought him at the end of the game when he was like a giant, whatever the hell he was.
Thing.
How much did you fight him in human form? I don't remember that much.
in between the game, you fight him twice or at least once. I remember maybe
Yeah,
not
I
even
just
once.
I just don't remember those being boss fights where he did much. Like, didn't he basically just stand there and laugh at you? I'm not sure that he had like signature moves from those fights.
Yeah, maybe
And
not.
maybe
not.
The stuff from the safer Sephiroth fight, he was like pulling planets out of the sky, and that is not what this version of the unit is. Like, that's
Sadly.
not the
But I
safer
mean,
Sephiroth.
okay, listen. His base form LB is summoning a alternate reality Midgar and then slicing it up into pieces and
Wait, is that
golden
what it is?
showering you with it. Yeah, that's exactly what he does. He summons Midgar, he slices it up and throws it at you. So I don't know, Muspel, I think your argument falls a bit flat there. But okay, no, I
That's
hear what
freaking
you're
crazy.
saying, but I still think like Tifa could still get those flavor, and it like regardless of flavor, even just like a fucking 60% break on your damage dealer, it's not like you're ever gonna use it, but there might be this just one situation where you're gonna be like, oh, it's so nice that Sephiroth has this break because it solved this problem in my poorly prepared event run. Like, these things matter to me. I don't know. They're just nice to have. That's the depth of the game, right? I don't want, like, if I wanted to play a 3 skill game, I would fucking go play Epic 7. Okay, it's like that's not what I want from FFBE.
To be fair, if you want to bloat Sephiroth's kit, you can just equip a fucking summon that has like 5 different abilities on it, and then now Sephiroth suddenly has a full kit.
Have you considered that he has 4 materia slots that you can use to equip stuff like
True.
Cradle of Horns and trying to think of what else there is that's
But
at all
Muspel, now you
useful.
need to tell me what his magic levels are, so I know what abilities I can equip on him.
Well, that doesn't require a magic level. You could also use Calamity Border.
Ah, true,
Um,
true.
Well,
true. Toxic
Barros,
Rain
Did you see Sinzar beat like I don't know Moon with like
with Sephiroth.
yeah he beat Scorn of the Moon with Sephiroth using just like he equipped the magic Sephiroth friend, and then like yeah, he basically did it. Fucking crazy.
That's so fucking stupid, but
I mean,
cool.
it's a 7-star trial. That's not super surprising to me, especially since
yeah.
we have the Arinia's ring now.
But it's still funny.
Yeah.
Still
It
funny
is
to see.
funny. It is funny. Okay, but anyway, so I guess the kid is very bare bones, but he does hit really, really hard. He is. I think that he technically does more damage than Tifa if you account for variance, which you do if you really want to cap high on DV because he's a TDH unit. So if you get the highest roll possible, he's gonna beat Tifa, right?
Yeah, especially if you have SOS Lightning's STMR.
Right.
Because a lot of the calcs are doing calcs without STMRs, and with that, Tifa is a bit ahead of him on paper. Once you have that, he pulls ahead, and then if you're going for max damage rolls, he pulls even further ahead. The problem, he is a little harder to gear, because Tifa has like all of her materia slots free for killers. Sephiroth doesn't, and like he's using SOS Lightning's STMR, I think he needs something for TDH in there. And then he has like 2 slots left over for LB damage and killers, and that can be a little rough.
Yeah. I mean, they're still fairly close, but he is kind of like if you're going for that big damage, you're probably going to want Sephiroth over Tifa. Although again, since they are both very elemental locked, you're still choosing them for whatever element you need at that point, right?
Yeah.
I forget about that. Like the Sephiroth AS elemental locked. I kind of forget about that point. But I guess yeah. I mean
honestly,
there's another benefit
so
actually to
ahead of most units that you're going to use him unless the boss just like straight up absorbs dark or cannot be imperiled enough to take damage from dark.
Yeah, and that's fully true. Yes, even in DV, he's gonna pull ahead even when off element because like there's no other unit that comes close. Well, apart from Tifa, obviously. But one thing I want to say that is a benefit for Sephiroth as well is that his base form LB is actually AOE, so that's nice. Actually, that's if you want to. I mean, in the one case where it might be relevant, but still, it is there.
Yeah, I'm not sure that there's a whole lot else to say about him though, because he does damage, and then that is literally the only thing in his kit.
Yep.
but he does a lot of damage, and that's why people like him.
Yes. And here, that's the problem, though. Okay. I just want to rant for a little bit longer. I know we've gone on for a long time already in the episode, but like that's not why you should like a unit only, though, right? Because here's my problem. There's a lot of Tifa and Sephiroth fans out there, and it's justified. They're both very cool units from a cool game. But right now, these fans are not pulling them for signature moves or you know um stuff that really throws back nostalgia. They're pulling them because,
They're overpowered.
well, they are the unit and they do a shit fucking ton of damage, right? And that sucks a bit in my mind. Like, I mean, god damn it, Tifa turns into Chun-Li and does like an LB nobody has ever fucking seen. Jesus.
The alternative, though, is back when we had cases where the best units in the game were the ones that no one cared about the characters, and the characters that people cared about sucked. Like, you were never going to put... I'm trying to think of a good example of a unit that
Sephiroth OG.
You would never put Titus on your team.
Yeah. Well, unless you really liked Quick Hit and were a...
Well, not even like star player Titus. You wouldn't put him on your team.
Yeah.
There was like a month or two where you would use Jekt or Auron, and then they got power crept. I think. Maybe arm.
Yeah,
That's
Jekt
a
was
little
like
longer
top
than
dog
that.
for like 1 week, I remember, or 2 or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
Yuna was never useful.
Yeah.
Riku was actually okay for a bit, I guess.
Riku
But
was really good for a while, yeah.
yeah.
No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but I'm still lacking that actual connection to the game too. Like, okay, so don't get me wrong. Actually, Tifa CGLB is fucking amazing, but I'm still lacking that connection.
Why does Sephiroth have 50% resistance to paralysis and sleep? Or confusion and sleep? Not full immunity,
Um,
50% resistance.
Huh.
huh.
Wait, let me try to theory
He was
craft this.
only
No,
he
I'm
was
not.
only he was only half vaccinated as a child. Hojo didn't think about it.
Yeah, he only got the first dose. He only
He only
got the
got the
first
first
dose.
dose. Hojo was
Yeah,
a bit. He wasn't thinking too much.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Do we have
No, I
Hojo in this
actually
game? We don't, right?
no.
I think he showed up as an event boss once or something.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Maybe.
okay.
I might be misremembering that.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just I have no idea. I don't know where they pull these resistances from anyway. Like, or I guess element resistances are easier, but the status ones, yeah, I don't know. Status don't doesn't matter anyway in this game right now, so that's a shame. But yeah, do we have anything else to talk about? Like, is there anything else out this week? We've talked about the friend worthless shard summon. There is a chronicle battle that really upgrades Cloud. We haven't talked about that.
Yeah, we can now upgrade Cloud's TM to get. I'm not even sure how much attack it gets. Let me check.
1,000 more attack.
Well, that's the static attack thing. I mean, like how much actual attack it gets as a weapon.
Oh, I actually don't know. Does it even go up to 200? I actually don't think it does.
190.
190, yeah.
Yeah, and then a
Yeah,
static passive that gives 1,000 attack to Cloud, AC Cloud, Remake Cloud, and Zack. So really just Remake Cloud, because you're never going to use the others.
yeah, exactly. And from what I understand, like if you kit out Cloud entirely, like you give him a Final Fantasy VII Remake card, so either Tifa or Sephiroth, you give him 2 accessories, so either 2 Tifa STMRs or 1 Tifa STMR and 1 Aerith STMR, and his Chronicle weapon, he's gonna reach ridiculous amounts of attack and will actually be able to do competent damage, which is a surprise.
But doesn't
And
he has
Sinzar,
EX3 upgrades as well?
he EX2. He needs his EX2 upgrades because he needs his Great Sword in Peril and some other buffs. And what happens then, or I think it was only EX2. But the thing is, like he actually, like Sinzar said that there are a couple of DVs where he's actually better, or one DV maybe it was, I don't remember. I'm afraid I shouldn't be quoting Sinzar here because I don't remember fully. But there was this DV where Cloud was actually more valuable due to element locks on the bosses. So and Dream did napkin math saying that he would actually end up at around Zidane levels of damage. I mean, of course, the setup is ridiculous, right? You need stuff from much better units than him to just get him up there. But hey, it's a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and just to clarify, there are EX3 upgrades for him, and I think that's what people need to as well.
Oh,
For like,
there are EX3. Okay.
yeah, but it's because he gets his LB turn 1 with his EX3 upgrades, I think,
Ah,
and that helps with his rotation a bit.
okay.
Because you can do the
Yeah.
imperils faster. But it again, you're right, because he did get like a basically what we always say, like a Rolex and then like a massage therapist and a happy ending and literally everything that you ever want.
Yeah.
So,
No, I mean, and now of course with Aerith or Nickel or any other high LB buffer, Ling as well, he also gets that big LB buff too. So you know, and he's basically brute forcing it, right? Because he ends up at like 8,000 attack. Okay, so that's where his damage comes from. It's from the flat stats. So that's interesting. You could like there could be situations where you might
Yeah.
actually want to pull out Cloud.
I think the problem is that to do that, you need STMRs from units that are better than him. Like,
Of
so
course.
you need like enough copies to gear out those units, and then enough left over for him too, and a
No,
second
but
copy
I
of Sephiroth's card, and so on and on.
no, but the example Sinzar said, I think, was that there were bosses with a ridiculously high resistance to the innate elements of Tifa and Sephiroth. So there is no point of bringing them. So you're not bringing them.
Oh, I guess. Yeah.
So that's kind of the point.
Would he out damage like people like Noctis and like Arden as well? Then I guess that he would.
I mean, Dream just did it in a couple of seconds, but he said he ends up at Zidane. So yeah, he would. Like, if Dream was right, then yes.
Well,
I mean, doesn't matter. I
Zidane is
guess
not
he's at that
necessarily-
level.
Zidane is only like 10% ahead of Noctis.
Yeah. Well, I mean, still doesn't matter much, I guess. Like it's at that level. I mean, Noctis is holy locked, so he might. I don't know. Maybe he's
Yeah.
in the same
I'm also
boat.
not sure if we're talking about STMR builds here, because I think that puts like Noctis gains a bunch from that when he uses 2 copies of Ultimate Blade.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Dream just did it really quickly, so I don't know what parameters he used. I'm also pretty sure that he used Cloud's Great Sword
Yeah.
Imperil. Assumed that, right, for Cloud. I mean,
We
of
should
course,
should
other
try to
units could
get
get
Dream to
Imperils.
guest on the podcast sometime. It would be interesting to
Yeah,
hear
I
his
mean,
take on these things.
Yeah. Well, you know what this means? This actually means that Dream now has to deliver these calculations perfectly to us. Like we
Yeah.
need to now know what the power of Handjob Cloud is. Can we call him Handjob Cloud? I would like him to be
No.
called
we're
Handjob
ending
Cloud.
the episode
Nope.
now. Bye, everybody. See you next week.